Hello there, sweet sewers. My name's Rebecca. Welcome to my channel where I like to talk about all things garment making. It's been a little bit since I've put out a vlog, so I thought I'd just do a little life update, wins, losses, and everything in between today. My most recent make is a bit of a bomb, user error, I have to say. I have not been thinking through my makes very well lately. So let me explain this one to you. I've just popped outside to take a couple of photos so you can see it with full body length. This is the Billie sweater by Tilly and the Buttons. This is about the 5th or 6th time I've made it. I've got a version in this navy and white striped French terry that's been in my stash for a long time. My vision was to have something nice and roomy and a little bit oversized to throw on over the top of things. So I pulled out my Tilly and the Buttons Billie sweater, and I had an extra print out, which was terrific because I wanted to cut it out in a bigger size. Instead of checking what sizes I'd previously made, I just went ahead and cut out the size 9. I did not think about it just being bigger in the body. It of course is bigger everywhere. The neck, the arms, and I just feel like I'm wearing my dad's shirt or something like that. It feels just too big. Plus this French terry is not really thick, so it's not really a layering piece because it's not smooth over the top of other fabrics. So I feel like I've bunged this one up a little bit by not thinking it through better. Previously I have made a size 6 which fits me in the Billie sweater. I'll put in a photo of that version. It was just made out of scraps with my first go. I've been wearing this non-stop. It's terrific, but it is a tiny bit tight across the chest. Now, in my other versions, I would say I made a size 7 with a puffed sleeve. I like it. I don't reach for it all the time because of the type of fabric. So why I thought a size 9 would be great, I don't know. Like I said, not thinking things through. This is just too big for me and it's not really cozy. I just feel a little bit swamped. I also the ribbing is like an old ribbing from an op shop and I don't think it's great quality. So I'm going to try washing this and throwing it in the dryer, and hopefully it shrinks a little bit. If it does not, I do wonder if one of my nephews will get some wear out of this. So that's the plan for this make, this version of my Billie sweater. The next make I want to share with you, I made quite a while ago, 6 to 8 weeks ago, and I haven't shared it with you because it wasn't a win. But I think it's probably important to share these things so you know that's really normal to have things that don't work out. Again, this is user error. I rushed into it again without thinking things through, without checking my recent measurements, and I guessed my size again. Yes, there is a theme. Rushing and guessing. You know what they say about measuring and checking twice. Well, that is true. Okay, so this was a pattern test pattern. It's a skirt. I'm just doing up the buttons on the back. It's called the Belladonna skirt by Stitch Maiden. And I put my hand up to do this because it was a totally different pattern company that I'd never sewn before. And I wanted to try to see whether their block fit me. And it was a different sort of a skirt. I've been looking for a skirt that I like to wear and I haven't really found one. What I like about this is it's flat at the front. The instructions were tip top. The finishes are wonderful. I love the finishes. At the back, it's a gather. It is a fixed waist. It's a gather with a zipper at the back and buttons. And I also like that this was a little bit more of a challenge for me to test my skills. I thought the instructions were terrific. I got the zipper in and the buttons on fine. The panels, it's made up of loads of different panels, and they're finished wonderfully with a little bit of top stitching, which I think really sets it off beautifully. I've made it in just this quilter's cotton. It feels a little bit more like a cotton poplin. It's a little bit crunchy and stiff, but I thought the vintage look of the fabric really went nicely with the vintage feel of the skirt. The tie around the waist, this was not in the instructions. I ended up sewing it onto the front waistband, and then from the side, the ties come out and you can tie them up at the back. I did that because I'm really great at losing small bits. And I thought if I didn't actually fix it to the waistband, I wouldn't know where it was for very long. So the skirt made up really nicely, beautiful finishes. I loved their suggestion of how to do the hem. So it's curved at the bottom, and I'm pretty bad at doing curved hems and curved pieces of fabric, but they suggested doing bias at the bottom because then there's no little blips, and it worked a treat. So even though this does not blend in, it's just a piece of wide bias binding that I had, and it went in beautifully on the curve. Very, very neatly. I really like that finish. I have already used that finish again in other makes. So the skirt sewed up really nicely. I'll pop some photos in. I did send it through to Stitch Maiden. I think they have used the photos, but basically it was very, very big on me. As I said, user error. I did not check my own sizing, and I guess so this ended up happening, or what's that, about 12 centimeters on both sides, so that's about 24 extra centimeters around the waist that I could have pulled in. So that's a pretty big mistake. The skirt itself is lovely. I will not be wearing that. To fix that involves a lot of unpicking, and I don't think I'm up for it. But I do want to tell you the Stitch Maiden pattern was tip top. If you're thinking about any other Stitch Maiden patterns, they have some really beautiful up-to-date vintage patterns. I think their website is lovely, and they have some other really, really lovely patterns on there. And I trialed that Belladonna skirt because they're increasing their size ranges for all of their patterns, and they're not just automatically making them bigger and putting them out there, they're getting people to test them to make sure the fit is correct. So well done, Stitch Maiden. I think that's terrific, and thank you so much for making a more size inclusive set of patterns. I popped into Spotlight today, which in Australia is just run-of-the-mill kind of fabric store where you can find a bit of everything, including bedding, dyes, all sorts of things. So this is my next Come On Rebecca, You Can Do It project. I have this long line cardigan that used to be my favorite one to wear. However, I hung it all summer next to a window, and now I have this bleached section where obviously the sun came through, peeked through the curtain there, and I haven't been able to wear this. So I bought some black dye because I don't have a lovely black cardigan at the moment. I am going to try dyeing it black, and fingers crossed that works a treat. And then for a very small cost and a very small effort, I have a new lovely long line black cardigan. While I was in Spotlight today, I did not go thinking I'd buy fabric, but of course you have to have a little look while you're there. I did pick up 2 new pieces of fabric. Do I need them? No, I don't, but I really, really liked them. This one I think I'll save for summer. This is a deep blue and a light blue gingham. So that is 100% cotton, and I'm not sure if you'd call it seersucker. It's not hugely textured, but it is a little bit textured, so perhaps. That's for, I think, a summer dress. The other thing I picked up was this light cotton drill. It's got a bit of a peach finish, but I just love the colors. They're really, really fun. It's a light pink background with a red stripe. I picked myself up 4 meters of that because I actually thought I'd do trousers and perhaps a matching shirt with it. While I was out at Spotlight, I also picked up a little bit of lace, and I thought I'd put them on this, which is one of my newest makes, just to make it a little bit more statement, because I feel like it's a little bit plain. So let me show you the lace and then I'll show you the full length dress. I think that was a bit blurred. And then the other bit of lace is similar, but not quite as wide. So the idea for this is to go on the hem, the bottom of this dress that I'm wearing, and then this lace here to go around the cuff. I'm just feeling like this is a little bit too plain. So this dress is a hack of the Finch, which is a blouse pattern. If you've watched my channel before, you will have seen my many versions of the Finch. It's a blouse by Charlie Darwin Textiles. I really love the blouse. I really love this fabric. If I was going to do it again, I would make this with a patterned fabric. I just feel like the plain is just the wrong choice, because the pattern is so plain. I feel like the fabric should have been a little bit busier. So all I've done is I've lengthened the bodice by quite a lot. You can see I've got the stand collar with the frill again, and I've got a straight 3/4 length sleeve. I like it. I think it's going to be really useful. I have worn it out one day with woolen tights and boots, and I felt really comfortable in it. And the photos I've taken quickly just now are just with some open-toed shoes. So I think it will work for summer and winter, all seasons. This fabric is a really nice linen. I love the feel of it. It feels just right. It's a mid to heavyweight linen from Draper's fabric. I think it's called an Italian crossweave. If you're looking, they've still got it in watermelon and strawberry. I believe this was the watermelon, which was a little bit of a deeper red than the strawberry. I really like it. I don't love it, and this is what I would do differently. Because it's so plain and the bodice is just really long, I would change the neckline. Instead of extending the height of it, because it's already long enough, I would do the Peter Pan collar and perhaps a little white lace ruffle around it, something like that. And I would not do the straight sleeve. I'd do something really, either leave the sleeve off completely or do something really statement, like I think there was a bishop sleeve option. I'd do that instead. In saying that, the things that worked, I was a bit worried that when I extended the bodice, it wouldn't go over my backside and give me lots of room to move, but it was a win. This is my usual size, plus when I put the pattern pieces on the fold, I just took them back from the fold about 1 centimeter, which gave me, 2 centimeters at the front and 2 centimeters extra at the back, which ends up being an extra 4 centimeters, which I think works really well. It's a good bit of room, but not too oversized around the bottom and the hips. So that works well. I lengthened the bodice a lot. If I can find the photo that I first took, it was almost to my ankles, but I knew it would be too long. My intention was then to see where I wanted it to come up to. And I always wanted to do a nice chunky hem because I think that looks stylish. Plus also I think a nice chunky hem just gets your linen to sit and hang really nicely instead of moving around too much. And that's exactly what's happened. I ironed and pinned it up, and before I sewed it, I checked in the mirror again. I thought it was still a little bit too long. It looked a little bit too much like a nightie, so I took it up a little bit further, so it's just enough below the knee that I feel comfortable about bending over, moving around, all that sort of stuff in my job. And yeah, I'm happy with it. I think I'll get lots of wear. If I ever do it again, I will, as I said, change the collar and do a different sleeve, or leave the sleeve to here and just do a little cuff or something like that. But if you're thinking about that because you're also a Finch blouse lover, it did work just to extend the pieces. However, I think on the website there is also a hack for adding elastic around the waist and then a tiered or a gathered skirt, and that would work as well. I just wanted the ease of one piece. Another make that I did a while ago, but I haven't told you about because it was not good, was the Matchy Sewing Club all day culottes. When it was so frugal, people were talking about these a lot, and I loved other people's version. I just thought they were terrific, and they looked so stylish and comfortable and easy to wear. So I thought I'm going to make myself a winter version in this lovely slinky velvet. It's like a petrol color. I did the pin tucks at the bottom, and I did the pockets. I thought the pockets would be too chunky with the velvet, so I did the pockets in a sweet little vintage cotton, and I just thought they were wonderful until I put them on. So for me, making trousers, my hips and my butt and my thighs are definitely the largest part of me, but I come in quite a lot at the waist. So for me to get anything over my hips, it means I have to adjust quite a lot at the waist. So I did have to pull in the elastic quite a lot at the waist, but that's no big problem. But the thing is, then you have excess gathering and excess fabric, like in the crotch, at the front, and also in this particular fabric with the wide leg, I just felt swamped. It was also quite heavy because of the winter fabric. The instructions do say to do a mid-weight, and this would be a light heavyweight, I would say. Yeah, I just felt awful in them. I hated the look of the wide leg elastic waisted pattern on me. Yeah, I was really disappointed, so I'm only just able to talk about it now. Interestingly, I had previously made a very similar pattern, the Glebe Pants by Mooner and Broad, which is also an elastic waisted wide leg pattern. And when I'd seen these on other people, I thought, oh, they look wonderfully easy breezy. I would love a pair of trousers like that. And I made them. Hang on, I think they're just over here. I'll grab them. I made them for summer in this wonderful lightweight fabric, which I thought would go with heaps of things that I had in the closet. A nice crisp white shirt. Same thing. I hated the look on me of that super wide leg with the elastic waist. It was just too voluminous for me. And now that I've done the same thing again with the same style from another pattern company, I now know for sure it's not user error. It's just that that style does not suit me and I don't feel good wearing it. So I'm going to take this fabric because there's so much of it, and I think I will do a bit of either chopping or unpicking and see if I can possibly use that beauty. I love that color and the softness of it. I'll see if I can use that fabric to try out another new pattern. It's a pattern by the Assembly line. I think they're just called the tapered trouser. I'll pop up a picture. I have talked about them before, that they're on my plans, but I'm going to see if I've got enough fabric out of that failed pair to do a toile and see if I can make them into a different pair of trousers. That's the goal. In other news, I've had a small purchase win today. Anybody else just love getting new storage things? So I got 4 of these little ones. I'm going to take out these dividers, and these are going to be for the fridge to easily pull in and out. You know, when you've got all those jars and you don't want to chuck out half a jar of curry sauce, but you're possibly not going to use it for another 6 months. That's what these are going to be for. Easy in and out jars and bits and pieces in the fridge. I count that a win. I met up with a lovely friend for lunch today, and she passed on some books for me to read. So I count that as a big win. A Jane Austen murder mystery, Pride and Premeditation by Tirzah Price. I think this one here has become a little bit of a modern classic. The Kamigawa Food Detectives by Hisashi Kashiwai. Kashiwai? And Shenkari Chandran, Chai Time at Cinnamon Gardens. So it might be a cup of tea time, and as I was walking down the street, there was a little pop-up shop that was selling jumbo gluten-free cookies plus all different sorts of tiramisu. Classic tiramisu, mango tiramisu. I'm not sure if you call it tiramisu, but anyway, strawberry, ube, they were trying to get me to buy, was purple. I wasn't quite sure about that one. Biscoff tiramisu and pistachio tiramisu. Hang on, I'll see if it still looks good in the packet and I'll share it with you. Okay, we've got a classic. Tiramisu is one of my favorite desserts, but I have to tell you, I've rarely had a good one at a cafe or a restaurant. They're usually not very flavorsome, so I usually save it when I can be bothered to make it myself. And I got a pistachio one. Let's see what that looks like. Pistachios on top and super creamy. I'm already thinking perhaps there's too much cream, mascarpone, whatever they've used for it, but we shall see. A good tiramisu is a work of art. I seriously sat down the other day and did a full Google search and research into where to find the best tiramisu in Sydney. A place in Parramatta came up, so I might have to try that on the weekend. It's important stuff, guys. Important stuff. Tiramisu. Yep. Your favourite sweets, your favourite treats. If you're going to have it, make it good. I spent a day in Mittagong and Bowral with a cousin the other day that I rarely see, so that was a real treat. And in Bowral, there is a tea shop, and I'm looking for the name of it. I can't see it. Oh gosh, Rebecca. A Touch of Tea. And they have all these loose leaf teas, which are just so flavoursome and lovely, but they're most popular, they make into tea bags. Yes, that is so lazy of me to prefer that, but that's what I went for. So I've got some French Earl Grey tea bags. Yum. Now, you're either going to love it or you hate it. Chai masala. Yummo scrummo. And Russian caravan. Most people do not like this. I love it. I love the smoky smell and the flavour. Yeah, so loose leaf tea, and they make them up into the tea bags for you. Thank you very much. So I think maybe some smoky Russian caravan tea with some tiramisu is my next step. I hope you are enjoying whatever you're making at the moment. I'm sure, just like me, you've got your wins and your losses and your, gosh, how am I going to problem solve and fix this moments. Please let me know if you have a great solution for any of my fails. I will gladly take the advice on board. In the meantime, I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much to that lovely, lovely viewer who recently checked in with me to see that I was doing okay. That is really, really kind. Bye for now, everyone.